Hey, this is Danny Sunshine. In today's video, I'm going to talk about running effective meetings, the importance of reviewing core values within your meetings, embedding a little bit of training, and building out processes to help your team be successful. Check it out in just a second. All right, so each week I send out an email called the Weekend Resource, which gets delivered to 3,300 plus, just over that, school leaders. I'm quite proud of it. And this is what it looks like. So it's just a whole bunch of really great resources, things you can read, downloads, popular posts, coaching tips, content I created, quotes I'm pondering, and that kind of thing. And so that goes out, and it's important to me because that's one way I serve the Better Leaders, Better Schools tribe. So this is something I want to hand off. Okay, I want to create the content, but I don't want to build it every single week and send it out. And so the thing is that I handed it off and it didn't get done. Well, why didn't it get done? Because I didn't send the process document to my team, my virtual assistant, to actually do it. And how did I find out that I didn't send out the process document? Well, we discussed it during today's meeting. Now, I didn't accuse, right? I didn't point fingers like, why didn't this get done? I asked some questions like, how can I help you be successful? Where you at with these things, et cetera, et cetera. And by asking questions, I found out that I had dropped the ball, and it clarified everything. Now, one thing I want to show you real quick is my meeting agenda. I'm going through this super fast. Something that we do, and I want to come back and circle back here, is the core value review. Core value review, wins of the week, because it's about building relationships, building trust, intimacy, that kind of thing. Accountability from last week's action items, new business that's coming up, any questions from me. And within there too, I do a little bit of training as well. Now, something that is important to me is this core value review, right? And one of the core values of all the organizations that I run is the look for the big domino. And we answered this question, which comes from the one thing. I think that's Gary Keller is the author. But the question is this: what's the one thing you could do today, this week, this month, this year, whatever, that if you take action and complete it, it makes everything else easy or unnecessary, right? I love that question. And so we talked about it today. What's the one thing in your role? And is there anything that we can do to help you out? And so what I found out is that for me, the Trello board that I use to manage all the different shows that I produce, podcast-wise, this is what it looks like. It has everything. This is headquarters for me. You can see here's my team. This is my one thing. As long as I'm adding content here and reviewing it consistently and communicating with my team, the podcasts and the clients that I serve producing their podcasts, it all gets taken care of. And then I asked, okay, for you, what's the one thing in your role? The great thing is my show notes writer said, well, I know you have the deadline on there for me, right? And I do. So if she writes show notes here, it says September 24th, when's it due? But she said, if you could, and I already tag her, I say, hey, Kelly, show notes are ready for you. And she said, if you can add the date you want it delivered by as well, and this one's already on there, the date that the podcast is going live, that would help me be accountable. Because sometimes I deliver stuff ahead of time because that's my thing. I have a system, I have a process. We work ahead of schedule, and if I deliver content that needs show notes 2 weeks ahead of time, then somebody might forget that this is due, right? Or they might procrastinate on it. And so by communicating clearly, why does that matter? Because if I didn't do a core value review today, right? And if I didn't talk to my team about what is important to me in terms of these core values within the different organizations I run, Better Leaders, Better Schools, the 4 steps to business freedom coaching I do, and then the podcasts I produce through No Sweat Media, I never would have unearthed that this would help Kelly be more successful. So add to all your meetings a core value review. Then the other point that I want to illustrate here is I was talking to one of my other team members, Abby, and asking about the weekend review, weekend resource right here, right? And what I found out is I didn't deliver the process document. So embed into every single meeting that you do some training time. And so this is just a real quick process document that I want to show you. And I give this to my team. They get a training video, which I do with Loom because it embeds right into a Google Doc. Normally that pops right up. Don't know why it is for this video, probably because I'm recording. And then it's all the steps and sub-steps of what they need to do to actually create the weekend resource, which I showed you right here. So we got to talking about it, and I found out that I hadn't delivered this to my team. And then I showed her another board, and she's like, what is that? Well, that's because I didn't deliver the process document. But the point is, systems, processes, okay, you had the process document. How do you create this weekend resource? And right here is the Trello board where I go and find great articles, I find resources, popular posts, videos, and quotes. And then that on-demand, live, face-to-face training, I was able to show her exactly how to utilize this board in ConvertKit is the email thing I use, to actually build out the weekend resource so that it gets delivered to my tribe that I serve, and it looks like this. And so those are just a few business tips, leadership tips in terms of core values that are so important, consistent weekly meetings. And listen, this meeting took 15 minutes. And then one team member, Abby, stayed around for 15 more minutes so we can dig a little bit deeper into the weekend resource. But those are just a few tips that I want to show you in terms of core value review, running great meetings. We're talking about processes and all that kind of stuff. So I hope you got some value from today's video. If you did, there's a few ways to help out. Number 1, give me a thumbs up. 2, share it all over social media. 3, click follow or subscribe so you can get this content delivered to you automatically. And then the question of the day. What is one great meeting hack? Something that you do that you might find ordinary and average, but maybe I don't do that in my meetings and it would make my meetings run better. So what's something that you do that make your meetings extra special? Put it in the comments below and help everybody that watches this video improve their team meetings. It's Danny Sunshine Bauer. I hope you're having a great day. Bye-bye for now.